few years ago, I went to the doctor, and the doctor prescribed me a very interesting medicine, laughter. No, his name was not Patch Adams. His name actually is Dr. Lolly, because my younger daughter always called him Dr. Lolly. Every time she was going to visit him, she was getting a lolly, so that's the name. And Dr. Lolly explained to me, laughing is very good, create endorphin, relax your muscle, your brain is happy, you relax, you can sleep, etc., etc. So following the advice of my doctor, when I have time after dinner to relax, I put on Netflix and I watch some stand-up comedy. I realized there are so many different types of stand-up comedy, all different style of comedian. And I realized that some of them, they don't make you laugh at all. They're too vulgar, sex-oriented everywhere. The one that I prefer, the one that makes me laugh the most, are the one that talks about real stories. The one that talks about those stories that at the moment you don't really laugh, but then maybe the day after you're driving, thinking about that, and you find the irony of life and you laugh a lot, even months after, years after. So what I'm going to do today is to try to tell you a real story that happened to me and see if we can find the humor in it and we can make you all laugh. Maybe not today, maybe next month. We drive the kids to school. It's about my trip to Italy with my future wife. Obviously my family is in Italy. I met my wife here. At a certain point I had to introduce her to the family in Italy, and so we did. Booked a flight. It was the 24th of December, because obviously main school holiday, main holidays here are at that time. The trip didn't start in a good way at all, because Dear Emirates lost our luggages. So the first few hours of my future wife permanence in Italy was super stressful, because she had prepared all the gifts for all the relatives, all the clothes to wear. She wanted to look perfect, she wanted to look nice, and guess what? They lost us everything. The only thing we had was our hand luggage with some shorts, some pants, 2 jackets, because obviously there is a 60-degree difference sometimes between here and there at that season. And there we go. On the way home, having to stop to a shopping center. You try to find a shopping center open on the 24th of December at around 5 p.m. See what you can find. Find something that is suitable for my wife. Find something that is suitable in her mind for herself. That's how our trip started. It was only the beginning. Because of course we have a good example of clashes of two cultures. My wife, as you already know, is Indian, and there are a few things between Italy and India that are very, very different. Obviously the first one is the language. So I was the mediator, the translator. I give you an example of one of the very interesting conversations. I was talking to my mom, and she said, "Oh, I didn't expect you to come with Shirley." I said, "Why not, Mom?" "Oh, because you know the tradition. If you introduce a girl to your family and she's not your fiancée, it means you're not going to marry her." I was very confused. I said, "What do you mean?" "Well, that proves you're not going to marry her." I said, "What are you talking about?" And that's when my wife said, "What are you talking about? What are you saying? What is she saying?" Obviously, I couldn't translate literally. I had to come up with a story. Maybe that's why I'm good in impromptu speech. I had to suddenly translate something completely unrelated. Another example, my future wife was meeting my grandmother. And my grandmother noticed her nice skin. I said, "Oh, you have a very nice dark skin." And my wife again, "What did she say? What did she say?" Because of course, in India, people who have dark skin want to have a white skin. But it's true in Italy, especially in the north of Italy, you see them very white. They want to be more dark skin, and that's why they're going to tan. The peak of this trip was this Christmas lunch. So you can imagine, Italian family, long table, my grandmother sitting at one end, all the family there together, my cousin, my aunt, uncle, etc. And of course, start eating, chatting, talking, telling stories, try this wine, try that, etc. etc. At a certain point, I see my auntie, she was sitting right in front of me. And she was having a very strange expression. She was looking at Shuli. So I turned to Shuli. Shuli was crying. Oh gosh, why are you crying? Oh, you guys are all arguing. Why are you guys all arguing? I said, what do you mean we're arguing? We're just having a good fun. We're talking. We're enjoying each other's company. No, you're all arguing. I can see you're moving your hands. Your eyes are big. You're raising your voice. I said, surely that's just normal in Italy. No, it's not. So I was trying to convince my wife, or my future wife, I should say, that at a Christmas lunch, my family was not all arguing. That's not the fun part. The fun part is that when I was trying to convince my wife of all of this, I turned and I have all the family looking at me. And because they didn't speak any English, they say, what did you do to make her cry? What did you tell her? And obviously in that situation, whatever I could come out with, it was not going to convince anyone. This obviously went on for a few minutes. I was justifying myself to my family and relatives and father, mother, grandmother, and at the same time I was trying to train my wife on the actual Italian way of having a Christmas lunch, and it's not an argument. And that was, ladies and gentlemen, my Christmas lunch in Italy. Now you understand why the title of the speech. I didn't think at all it was funny, but now that I think about it, actually it was. Thank you.
Thanks, Enrico. Now we will get to see how we can put that table talks. Right, so we